Hello, LinkedIn. Welcome to Data Kiba. This is Sanjeev. And today I want to start with a quick question. What do you mean by data quality? What is your definition of data quality? What is your definition of data governance? What do you, what do you, what comes in your mind when you think about master data management? So these are some of the thoughts, questions which we want to revisit today with our guest. So without any further delay, I will ask our guest to introduce himself and we can take it from there. Vivek.
Yeah, thank you, Sanju. My name is Vivek Singh. I am a primary contributor of OSDQ, the world's first open source data quality. And it is good that Sanju has really asked me the definition of data quality because it means different thing to different people. If you ask what is data quality to a doctor, he will probably say the molecule structure should be good when I'm creating a medicine. When you ask for a data stewards in a big company what data quality means, he basically says that I should have a good data to create reports. If you ask data quality from an engineer, IoT engineer, he will say that data quality means my sensor should give right data every time in every condition, whether it is hot or cold. So data quality is a very broad thing, Sanju, and we have discussed this thing. So it is very difficult to define data quality in couple of words or couple of sentences. So let's say that data quality is a good data what you need, and your needs can varies from anything.
Right.
It can be structured, unstructured, IoT, event data, log data. So when you say data quality, does not mean that log data should not be a good quality data. So
That's
it is a
right.
very broad term. Even the Excel sheet or the IT department or the your facilities look for good data so that he knows that who is
Absolutely.
the driver of this cab, so that he can ship the right people at the right time, or he knows that if the car is of type Innova, which can fit 7 people, the car should not be Indica, where it will fit only 5 people. So data quality is, I will say, it is a business driven,
Obviously. Yeah.
and you should think in that way that it is not a standalone process. It is a process to smoothen your business and to make your business optimized.
Absolutely. So why I raised this, question and why I started with this question is basically, I mean, the philosophies that I have been thinking about is that data quality, data governance, master data. Basically, if you go by definition, almost everybody would know that. If you don't know, you can probably search the Google and you
Yeah,
will
so there are like seven C's, seven I's, seven P's. So
right.
all those things keep coming in.
Coming, right? But
Yeah,
I was thinking and proposing, right? I mean, we should be able to be in a condition to take that, probably a definition in standard, and then try to put into our situation, organization, or things that we want to achieve out of data. And that would definitely mean different to different people, as you rightly said. So we got to define or we have to create our own definition based upon our condition. We can definitely get inspired from the standards and then books or whatever, right? But there has to be a guiding principle for us to be able to follow, and that differs from organization to organization. One organization A might have a different guiding principle they want to operate or they want to get things done versus the organization B. So the definition cannot be same for everybody is what the whole idea was of bringing you to that. So I think we'll move on to our next thing, and then we would like to really know that what are the different main philosophies, right? I mean, what is the goal of data quality analytics from your perspective? What do you want to say about that?
yeah. So first we have to understand the data. So data, you must have heard a lot of buzzwords that data is new oil and data is new money and all those things. But even the oil, unless you really explore and use the oil, it is of no meaning. Like otherwise, it will be a crude oil sitting somewhere in the mine. So same is for the data. It is very difficult to monetize the data unless you really extract the data. And to extract the data to a business, you need quality and governance.
Understand.
What I'm saying is everything is a data. Even we breathe in and breathe out. For it is very important to a doctor because he will check our what is our heartbeat and all those things. But it may not be useful for some other people. So even in the, I will say, in the realm of big data, you have to also think about good data and actionable data, and where the data quality comes into picture. People say that data quality only means, as you told, there is a book definition of 7 C's like consistency and relevancy and concurrency and real time, all those things. But the data is, to make it a business usable, is what data quality and data governance does to it. And it has, I will say, it is not only defined to, because people say it is a pre-processing, you have to do data quality and do a ETL in the general parlance, but data quality is in the whole pipeline. Even after ETL or in the data lake, and now they are saying the data lake house, a quality is very important. And what should be the quality, people don't know, because your data is interacted by many different sub-organizations within your organization. So that's why you need a umbrella architecture or umbrella framework where people from business, from IT, from development, they all come together and figure it out what this data means to me. And that's why the stewardship is very important.
Right.
And you also mentioned analytics, right?
Yes.
So we are old enough to know this garbage in, garbage out, but the whole world is moving from this reporting and the pre-canned reports to a more AI and ML side. And the more we move to that side, the data quality becomes more and more important.
Absolutely.
Because also the dimension of data quality changes, because in the reporting we are more concerned about this consistency of the data, and the data should not be, or data should be complete. But when we are going to modeling, we also look for the biasness of the data. Is the data is biased, or what kind of data sampling we are doing? And all those things will come under the umbrella of data quality. It, slowly the whole world, the whole data life cycle is getting very integrated. You cannot say that this is a data quality job and this is a ETL job and this is a reporting and this is ML, because the whole pipeline is getting operationalized. All those container in the world, like they will create end-to-end pipeline and put on a Docker, and the whole pipeline will run. So if a data quality is a problem at point A, the same problem will be carried over to point B, C, and in your model, and eventually it will fail. So I think I'm old enough to know that a lot of BI projects failed when we started, and the reason was data quality. And a lot of AI ML projects will also fail, and the reason will be same, data quality.
So
There the data quality was inconsistency, incompleteness. Here the data quality will be wrong sampling, not enough data fusion, data biasness, uh, not good stratifying. All those things will come into picture. But base is the data is not good to create a model.
Correct. So, I mean, going back up to our, core. I mean, we have been talking that okay, we will be, thinking from the, with your experience, and I mean, the core would be really thinking about past, present, and future, right? I mean, how are the things evolving? I mean, you have been into this. You have been credited for a creation of a open source data quality tool. That's a big credit. We will get to that topic, because personally, I am interested to know your thoughts, motivation around that. So we'll get to that topic. But at this moment, right, from the data domain side and consulting many companies around the world, what do you think that things have evolved from, past, present, and what would be future looking like? I think I heard about your data lake warehouse, or data lake house is one term you just said,
Now
right? I mean,
calling a lake house.
yeah, lake house. Okay, so we
Yeah,
will. So that seems to me a future, or maybe it's already there.
yeah, yeah,
We,
yeah.
we will talk about that. So let's talk about that piece from your eyes, right? I mean, how things evolve, because as you said, right, it's been, it's good enough time to really understand few things and then put things into perspective. So your thought on that?
Sure. So I went like way back in around 2004 or 5 when I started this project. This is world's first open source data quality project. I call it OSDQ.
Congratulations. Yeah, we all
Yeah,
know.
yeah. It is also, I used to call it aggregate profiler, because that time data quality means profiling. I used to work for a big ETL company that point of time, and the problem that I was trying to solve was, once the data comes from a source to target, and a lot of time the ETL will fail, and I'm talking about 2004, 5, 6 frame. And people don't know that ETL job is successful or not, because the job will run, it will put all the null values. So the data quality that time was, if you connect to a data target and do a profiling, that was good enough.
Right.
Then the next phase of data quality comes when the people started saying that, I can do a string match, or I can do a nearness search on a string. So that was like, oh, string you can find out. Vivek is different from Vivek E. So
Mhm.
then the next phase of data quality started from the structural profiling. It started moving into more of a nearness search, similarity search kind of thing. Then the big indexing thing came, right? If you know Lucene and Solar and Elasticsearch,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
people say that,
Used couple of them. Yeah.
yeah, people will say that now I can figure it out, the words which are nearby, the words which are in cosine distance. So that comes to next level of data quality. Then what happened is the whole entity resolution and event correlation started coming, because that time a lot of big companies just started the log files, and they say that one event can trigger 500 events. So they started event correlation. And then one person in a customer data is a consumer, and then this person is also a supplier. So they started looking at CRM systems and figuring it out. They start calling customer 360 views and all those things.
Right.
So that is what I think data quality is at present, where it is more of a giving a master data, like product master data, event master data, material master data, golden data, all those things.
So
But
behind
the
the saying is that if you are able to shape those based upon your organization need, it might just go. It would support or it will support your customer and consumer 360 or a product master or MDM initiative, right?
right. So
So in this future context, right? I mean, I'm hearing that data ops and ML ops, and so are there or AI and ML. So how this AI and ML is playing role in the data quality specifically, or data governance, for example? I mean, can those technology help in data
yes,
quality be much more better, automated or something?
it is. So that's why I'm saying that now we are in a phase where we say that customer 360 or entity resolution is very important. But going forward, as you rightly mentioned, the data ops, ML ops will be evolving. And there the data quality becomes more into getting the right data without biasness, or have the same biasness as a production data. Because going forward, with the world becoming more and more sensitive to PII data and the browsing histories and all those, people will not, or the government will force people not to use the real data, the production data, which basically means you have to create a model with a data which is not real but should be real. So the data quality will be evolving into more of a those kind of things, where you do a right sampling, whether it is random, stratified, subsetting. You introduce the same kind of biasness. You, let's say in your production data you have a rule which says that age cannot be less than X, let's say 18 years. So now when you're creating your data or sample data, you have to have the same rule. So the whole business rule driven data quality will come into picture. And there what ML ops, once you create a containers or you create operationalization of your models or your data pipeline, the same data it will run in the dev, QA, UAT, and production. So you have to create your data with induced quality, so that the dev, production, and all have the same quality. Good or bad, we don't know, because you also have to test some negative use cases. But it should have the same kind of uh, same kind of data, the same variation, same variance, same biasness, same attributes kind of thing. So I think the data quality is slowly moving into those areas. Also, what is happening is, since the big data is real now, the data quality will also move into big data platform. Yeah.
Depends. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because big data people started saying like 10 years back, but now people are using it. So the data quality also, which was like in silos, and you're thinking like we can do 10,000 rows or 15,000 rows, will suddenly becomes like now we have to do on the terabyte of data. So the lot of data quality will move to a big data platform. The tools will move to a big data platform. And also if you see OSDQ, we are also started moving into Spark, Apache Spark, which is a big data platform, because everything you cannot do in JVM. But you also
So
have to keep in picture that,
I'll stop here. So how are you able to do this? Because I mean that's a question that I always had, right? I mean, how you keep motivating yourself to design, develop this product? You kind of conceptualize it. You had a problem. You wanted to have a solution, so you created this open source tool, and it's a world first open source tool.
yeah.
It got aimed at it got published also somewhere. I mean, I was reading about it. So I mean, how have you seen this evolving from a just an idea to a product, and how are you planning to take it in future? And what is your plan and roadmap for this product for yourself?
Okay, thanks for asking me. Yeah, so as I told, in around 2003-4, I was working for a big ETL company that time,
Yeah, yeah.
and I was the technical manager for their ETL tool of that big
Mhm.
company. That was one of the suite. And as I told, the bigger problem was if ETL is happening or not, we don't know.
Right.
So then the idea came to me that why not we start a simple profiling tool? And that time Java was pretty hot and Swing was the UI, it was not React and all those things. So I created a simple uh, Java based profiling engine.
Mhm.
And that was, I open sourced around 2006. And
Yeah.
then as I started putting it more open source, people started asking me, can you do this? And since I'm also I do sometimes consulting, I get
Mhm.
to meet a lot of people, especially in the data field. And
Right.
fortunately, I know that what is their pain point. So
Mhm.
it start evolving from there. Like it was initial profiling, then they told that can we also change
You
the
added a lot
data?
of, yes, I have used it. You added a lot of feature there. Yes.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
thank you.
Yeah.
Only thing is sometimes the features are not very intuitive because it was like keep adding it
Mhm.
as time grows. But it is typically started with the profiling. Then people say, can I change the data in C2? Can I just connect to a database and change data there itself? Or
Mhm.
can I pull the data, clean it up, put it back? So from there, I started profiling to in situ, and then people started. I want address correction. I want to do my data into uh, entity resolution. So we started with that. Now, a lot of people asking, can I use this one for dummy data creation and data preparation? Because a lot of models need a really feature engineering. Like we will not say data transformation, but it is a different kind of transformation.
Mhm.
So we call it data preparation. So I started adding a lot of features into data preparation.
That
And
is important.
as
Yeah.
if we go in the same direction, probably we'll start the ML testing or ML data quality where the models we can test. So uh, yes, so as I work with different people and the time is moving, we get new requirements, and that's why I keep developing it. So yeah, open source needs a lot of commitment because it is not your primary source of income. But at the same time, when you get a mail from someone or someone downloads it, you feel happy and it gives you motivation to do more.
And that's how I got to know you, right? I was in touch with you for downloading, and I was kind of struggling to set it up, but then you really responded very well, and then I got that set up and running. So that's where we got introduced to each other.
Yeah,
So
so
yeah.
there the commitment comes, right? It is your product is like you should be product is not to show that what you know. Product is to show that what other people can use. And if you don't give support, people will not use it because
Right.
people will know it is very tough and all those. So that's why I always commit that even if you are using it free because it is open source. So first people should know that
Mhm.
they have a problem in data quality.
Right.
I don't intend to like make a lot of money out of it, but my primary purpose is people should download it, play with it, know their
Mhm.
data well. Because
Mhm.
once they know their data, we can, if they need help, we can provide. But the first thing is you should know that how good your data is. And that's why this open source, I keep it open source without any monetary benefit. And
Right.
I keep running it so that it is good for community. You should know the data.
So hold your thought. I have certainly got one. I mean, I can recall one of my Data Ki Baat show where we talked about MSMEs getting and trying to look at their data. They should get more sensitive or sensitized about their data, how they can use data and probably grow their business or be more effective and things like that. And what I have understood, that the main challenge that they face is that the investment piece of it. So many of the tools in the market probably they can't. I'm just making it up, like they can't probably afford it, or there is no vision and direction from the for the IT to put a lot of investment over there. So they might be looking for that kind of a open source tool where they can just utilize that and then get the benefit. So do you know, or have you seen somebody in the government or MSME sector using this tool, and how it is compared to the other player in the market? I mean, is there even a other data quality open source tool in the market? I'm just curious.
Yes. So there are like the three main open source tools are a data cleaner from Europe
Mm-hmm.
and Talent Data OS from
Mm-hmm.
Talent and OSDQ that is from mine. So it is top three open source.
Okay.
And then we have the lot of proprietary tools which needs Informatica, SAS. They have
Mm-hmm.
IBM as a data quality tool.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the like government projects in South India, they are using my product, and the other one is doing a very active POC. The good
Great.
thing about OSDQ or the open source is there is no upfront investment. You don't have to engage a big sales cycle. You just download it, start playing, and see whether it helps or not.
Mm-hmm.
And only it helps, you have to engage the open source contributor. In
Yeah.
case of in case of proprietary tools, there is a big sales cycle, and the sales guys has to get paid, right? So it is fair enough because so the POC itself start getting like a paid POCs and whether it will help or not, and then their primary business is to make money so that they sustain. While in open source, the primary business is to help you. You know that it is free. You don't have to worry about it. If you need some customization, yes, it will be it will be customized for your need, but there is no upfront cost. So
Right. Yeah. Great. Yeah. Okay.
so I
So.
will typically recommend people is even if you are going to invest big into enterprise and because they have their own benefits. I won't say that enterprise has no benefits. They are selling so well, so they have their own benefits, but use some of the open source or the free ones to understand your data first so that you will have a more informed decision when you are talking with enterprise. Otherwise it becomes a sales cycle. It is like they are trying to sell something which you may or may not use it.
Right.
So that way open source come into picture. It is almost free, and even it is you have to pay something, it is minimum. You have to only pay for the time and material and the customization.
Right.
So there is no reason why you should not use open source.
Right. So where do you want to take this next, right? I mean, as I said, I personally used it, and I also had some thought and request around that. We talked about that. So now it is a time to let everybody know that where is OSDQ seen from the creator's eyes. I mean, you have created it. So where do you want to take this, to the next level, and how?
So there are three things right now it is in my mind
Mm-hmm.
where I want to take it. The first thing is the cloud. Everyone is talking about it. So now slowly I think the on-prem open source will be dwindling and moving to cloud
Mm-hmm.
because it is more convenient for anyone. So the first thing is cloud.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is more scalable because I told, like I have started creating the Apache plugins, Spark plugins, so that it can scale
Yeah.
because the data is getting bigger and bigger. And the
Bigger.
third thing is, as we discussed, like data ops and the ML ops kind of capability we have to build so that people not only use it for like a simple profiling or the entity resolution. They
Mm-hmm.
once they think about their models, they know that the model is good enough. So we have to create a framework where the data can be generated, good enough data can be generated where they can use in their models, and the models will be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise models and the AI will go the same way as BI, where more
Mm-hmm.
than 60 to 70% project failed.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I think it leads me to our next question is that I mean I'm interested in really knowing that you said some organization are using it, and there are people who are doing some POC and seeing whether they can use it or not. That's about the tool perspective, right? what are the, I mean, what are their experiences and current challenges, and how you are, able to take that into account, and then and at least try to, because you are already having a day job, and then this is something that is open source. So how are you managing and balancing those current need, their experiences, their challenges versus your current, job or challenges, right?
Okay. Um, so it is challenging. There is no doubt about it. But good thing about open source is there is a community around it. So sometimes if someone raise a question before I can see, I see someone else has answered it, because people like you and there are other people who download it who are very active user,
Mhm.
and they know a lot about OSDQ. So that way a community plays a very important role. And fortunately, I have like very, I'll say, committed people who goes look into the messages, what people are asking, and they reply. So that is a very good support for me.
Community
Wha-
is important. I mean, definitely. Yep.
Yeah, and the questions, typically people ask questions about, as I told, data quality is very business driven. It is not like a standard horizontal framework.
Mhm.
Everyone has a different definition for data quality. So people come with a different mindset. Okay, data quality to me means this feature. Do you have? Or for me, data quality means this feature.
Mhm.
So sometimes I have, sometimes I call it by different name, or sometimes the process is different.
Mhm.
So I have to do like some of the POCs and some of the client. What we did is we did a little bit of customization, and that was for, it will work for them. Like I will give an example. Like one of the guys, it was a bank in Southeast Asia.
Mhm.
So they have a very peculiar data. So if data is minus,
Mhm.
it means that it is a different kind of accounting. Let's
Okay.
say in checking you have $200, they'll say checking 200, and let's say saving you have 200, so they
Mhm.
will say minus 200.
Mhm.
So minus was to show it is a different account, but
Okay.
the value was the positive. So if you do any simple data quality or you do a sum, it will
Mhm.
become zero while they have $400. So these are very like a business driven, and it also depends how they copy the data. So this kind of problems come. So that needs a lot of customization. They
Typically,
are
use
not
the
very
guide.
standard things, but it is.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I get a lot of questions on the UI, because I told, like, I started long back and I had the Java Swing, which is not in vogue now.
Mhm.
People are using very fancy UIs,
Mhm.
and people are accustomed to having very fancy UI. So now they will ask that when I will get that kind of UI in open source. So
Mhm.
that is the another area which I'm looking into, that can I give a better UI on the cloud, which is
Yes.
more intuitive and like uh, which is
That is,
very, yeah.
that is one of my biggest asks, by the way, Vivek,
Yeah,
because
and I get a lot of people asking the same thing.
I use it, but I somehow get little bit lost into the, because this very, I mean, there are a lot of information. I mean, if you can really organize it well, and if you can have those current days intuitive UI, then I am thinking that this is, really going to, be more adoption. I know it is already a number one, but maybe, we want to take it to the next level again, right? And
No,
from
I
there on.
completely agree with you. As I told, product will not, I don't develop product for the sake of product. I develop it to be used, may not be commercially, but it should be used as enterprise. So it is very important that we keep abreast of the the new developments, what people are expecting. And I also use, or I will request from your contact and your live viewers that feel free to contribute. It is not my product or not your product, it is a product for the community.
Yes, definitely.
So they should be getting involved, and there are a lot of very good UI guys who can spend some time. So it is a community, we should build it.
Yes.
And if we do good, I think it will benefit the community. Means, of course, it will benefit the enterprise, but it will also benefit the communities and the guys who are coming into data field. It will help them a lot.
Absolutely. You talked about people, community, and that's, bring to my favorite topic. I am very high on the people aspect. Even if we are talking about data and technology, I support technology. I am very much, up to date with what is happening. But I mean, the people aspect is very big on for me at least, right? I start from there. So I will get to that favorite question of mine, which I ask everybody, right? just to take a opinion and vote and keep on sharing the same message, right? So what are your thoughts on this golden triangle, right? People, process, and technology, and how critical is those three pieces in digital transformation? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so fortunately or unfortunately, the data, if you are a data or in the data field, it has to be very people driven, because unlike the horizontal or the other IT department where
Mhm.
you still can work in a silos because it is a machine to machine conversation.
Mhm.
Like you have an app which is spinning a log, it is all machine to machine communication. But data, the moment you come to data, especially in the business field, you have to communicate with different groups,
Mhm.
and then understanding their need is very important. And to
Mhm.
understand their need, you should have empathy of the business they are doing,
Absolutely.
because everyone is working hard. The sales people are working hard, the campaign manager is working hard, the marketing team is working hard, the reporting team is working hard, but the output is not good enough for a CEO. So
Great point.
if you are a data architect or if you work with the data, you have to make sure the data flows smoothly between all those groups. And then it becomes important that everyone in this ecosystem, all three or triangle,
Mhm.
owns the data and feel the data is important, because there is not one team or one group
Mhm.
which can ensure a data quality.
Absolutely.
So people say that data quality is an IT job. It is not IT job. It is important for sales guys. Also the marketing team, the marketing architect has to decide for data quality. The sales guy, the campaign manager has to decide. IT guys are very downstream, the IT data quality engineers. But
Mhm.
the data flow from the top itself should have a good quality.
Right.
And also the IT engineer should know that what business is expecting out of this data, because if he does not know, he will just look at the data and say no, null, very good quality data, all complete data,
Mhm.
all data came in last 1 month, so the relevancy of data is very good, but no duplicates. But we don't know the business, it might be a very bad quality data. So it is very important, especially when you work in a data field, that
People
you
perspective.
talk to people, you understand what they need out of data. And that's why the whole data governance is not a IT governance, and the DevOps, and people are saying the data ops is different from DevOps, because
Yeah.
it is people, it is not the process. Data
Mhm.
is still very people oriented.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we are talking about people, and it will be unfair to not talk about the culture, right? I mean, so you keep hearing, right? Data culture, data literacy, data citizen, data scientist, all those. I will not call it a fancy word, but I mean, it is relevant. I feel for that word, right? But it is probably been overused, abused, whatever, right? Because we keep talking about that piece, but what is the crux of the matter, right here? What is the message out there?
So
If
the
we talk,
message is very clear, and the clear message is confusion. So the whole data is very confusion. I will say it is very confused culture, because see, the data is something that you want to hide, but also there is something that you want to show. It is something that has a PII we cannot share, but also you have to share to make a sense out of it.
Mhm.
So the whole, it is a citizenship. People call it a citizen uh, data, or open gov is putting a lot of data, but at the same time they're asking companies not to share data.
Mhm.
So and I think it is going to be a more and more complex world, where there will be one size, they will look for personalization. The algorithms will try to figure it out what Sanju wants, but at the same time, it will not share the data what Sanju does.
So there is a conflict, clear conflict. So
Yes, so
just
that's why it is a confusion, and that's why the data architect or the data team has to be very careful not to
Mhm.
share the data, at the
Mhm.
same time share the data.
Mhm.
So that's why all those data quality comes into picture. How you will synthesize the data, how you will create a real looking data kind of thing, how you will do a data preparation, how you will mask the PII, how you will do encryption of the data.
Mhm.
And
So
everything has to come through a governance framework, because
absolutely.
I mask it, give it to you, it will not make any sense to you unless the governance framework says that this means this. So
Mhm.
the whole metadata will, and governance will come into picture. And that will be very helpful, because unless, see, if you are a scientist, unless you can't be a good scientist if you don't have a good data, because your models will not work. So whether you are citizens data scientist, or everyone is a data or self-service, or whatever it is, you should understand the data, and the data quality should be good.
Right.
So these are the two basic premises on which all the downstream process will work. And we most of companies have not figured it out how to solve this problem.
So,
Sometimes it is because of,
Vivek, I mean, I'm interjecting there. I mean, what they should be doing, which they are not doing. If they really want to thrive with data, if they really want to succeed with data, what are the couple of things that they should be doing, which you are thinking that they're not doing because of your experiences working with them? You've consulted many companies.
yes, so the whole concept of a data ops was not there. So data, if you see, there was no project which was a data project. The project was a business project. And typically one business project will interact with multiple data sources, and the data sources were owned by IT. So I have experience in big companies. So just to get a dump of a data, I use 3 to 4 months just to figure it out who is the DBA and how to get the dump of a data to do my analysis. And that is a very typical in any big companies. Like there's so much governance process, you have to know who is who. So companies are now coming up saying that the data is, or data can exist on its own. The projects are the data projects, which basically says that I will create a framework where I know which all my data are, and the projects and the businesses, I will mark it or I will tag it that which businesses use it, but data will be my primary entity. So all the office of CDO has started, data officers, and the data ops project has started, because initially the data project was a part of project. Like they say, I am a customer engagement project, or I am a BI project. So they will take some of the data, but there was no data project per se. So now companies are starting as a data project. They say that this is my data project. I'll take a data to data lake or EDL. This is my project itself. I am the business for that. And then businesses can take the data from the data lake or data warehouse or whatever you want to call it. So that way, the slowly big companies are realizing that more than big data, the problem is multiple data. They have multiple data sources. Any big company will have at least 500 to 600 leaving the Excel sheets. So they started the data lake, data warehouse as a separate entities, and that is helping them now. At least there are someone in the big companies, a group which knows how many data sources they have, what is the volume of data, which all businesses are using it, and that is a good move. So slowly it will move in those directions. So there will be people who will be, like we call it business analyst. Now there will be data analyst, not data analyst for a project, but the enterprise data analyst who knows end-to-end data flow in the business.
Yeah. So, do you also have some comment on the stewardship, data stewards? I mean, obviously, we have defined a role. We call that as a data steward, but I'm thinking that mostly everybody who is working in data are kind of doing the job. Obviously, behind the title, they are end of the day basically a data steward to me. The message here is that there has to be a culture. I mean, since we are talking about culture, right? There has to be a culture of thinking and assuming a responsibility and role of data stewardship no matter what you are doing. But if you're talking about data, if you're doing data work, and if you're handling data, then the mindset has to be of data stewards. So what do you think? Would that help? If this culture can kind of help people to really get out of those data
Yes.
chaos?
So as I told, like data is getting bigger and bigger every day, and it is growing beyond the human brains. So some of the companies I work for, I have consulted, they have like at least 30, 40 big data sources, and the data and the number of tables in data sources are like 5,000. So it is not for one person or team of 5 people to know each and everything about the data. So data stewardship role will grow, but slowly it will become a community where the data from business, IT, and all those will come together, and they will try to define the data. So they will say that, okay, I own this, or I am not a steward for let's say mm, CRM or Oracle. They will say that I am a steward for a business,
Yeah.
and in that there will be stewards from business, marketing, sales, IT. All those guys will come together, and they will define the data, because it is beyond one person or one team to understand end-to-end data and have a mm, I will say authoritative say that, oh, this is the data I know. It will be very difficult.
I'm very, very happy to hear this. And then the good thing is that you have touched one more favorite area, right? The community that we are talking about, right? And I would take this opportunity to talk about a community that I have been working to grow, and I have created that piece, which is GOTS, gangs of data steward, and that community is basically to identify or not identify, to recognize the people behind the data, right? So as I said, right, I mean, the data doesn't move itself, people really move data. And if we all have heard it, and Vivek explained, right, the people and then culture is important, and that's how we make the community. So it's not, the community is not just like a set of people. The people who are bound together by a certain amount of certain culture
Yeah,
basically make
and also the good thing will be experience, because data stewards are different than developers. So
right.
you have to be in business to understand really what data is. So I think the data stewards will be more of a like a senior or experienced guys
Mhm.
who know the business well, because the data will only make a sense when we give a context, and
Context.
business give context to data. If I give you a data, let's say from IoT, which you have no context, for you the data will be stale data, waste data, unless you know the context.
Context.
So
So
data steward will not only be, it will not be a DBA, or he will not be a, I will say, a developer, or he may or may not be, but
Mhm.
he should know the business. He should know that where this data is going, where the data is coming from, who are the guys who are consuming the data. So those are the guys who are the data stewards, senior guys who have authority, who can work directly with the CDO office or CTO office and say that we need to change this flow. So when
Mhm.
steward says that we need to change this flow because this flow has these are bottlenecks, we have to move to lake, or we have to move to this warehouse, or we have to move to this mart, people should listen to it,
Mhm.
because this guy knows the IT, this guy knows the marketing, this guy knows the sales, this guy knows the business.
Mhm.
So
Great.
stewards will be very important to companies going forward.
Yeah. And so slowly, I mean, the whole idea is to bring that kind of a community culture. So generally, people think community is outside, right? And organization is also set of people. But we have to think from the data perspective that we can also build a community inside the organization, and that community can be basically of those set of people who understand data well, who can work in collaboration with each other and try to build that culture, and then understand the context behind it, and then put it to the practice, so that organization can really reap the benefit of the data. They can get the right insight out of it. Otherwise, it will always be a problem, right? If the volume will always be there, the variety will always be there. The velocity is basically we need fast and quick response time. All those things will always be there, but we still have to get out the value of data, right? So we cannot talk about that constraint. We have to also see the value and how do we get it, because the sources will increase. As you said, right, big data is becoming reality, so the volume is going to increase anyway. So
Yes.
so that's where the point is that uh, teach and culture, make the culture of data, teach and train the
Yeah.
people to understand that concept.
So I completely agree with you, because a community outside of your business or enterprise will
Mhm.
help you in creating those technical bottlenecks or removing those bottlenecks.
Right.
But if it is inside company, then only it will give you a business sense, because people from outside will not know your company culture, they will not know the work you are doing.
Yeah.
So it is very important for a company, as I told, like the data stewards will be the new sales guys for the company, who will be very important. Who are the guys who will make your business run, like a sales guys who will, as they bring new prospect, the stewards will bring the value of the data, otherwise it will be a mess.
Yes. Some great insight, right? Data stewards will be a new sales guys. They would be the next flag bearer. And then couple of things I picked up, and which I would like to probably share after this call as a takeaway, right? Even the bad model or a bad sampling can be a data quality issue, right? I mean,
Yes,
that's
so data quality is more moving towards a good sampling, data masking. That will be a new frontier because where the model operation and data ops will come into picture.
awesome. I mean, those are the things that I'm trying to remember, which I kind of learned from today's conversation. So that's really helpful, Vivek. Any parting thought, because we have kind of covered. I would like to talk about more about the dimension of data quality. I'm planning to have a session dedicated to data quality dimensions, because we have many different ways of looking at it, and there are many dimensions. I mean. So that it's a good idea to compile those in one talk, and then see how we can make people understand and various aspects of it. And I will add your thought there, because this is from the big data, sorry, from the AI and ML perspective, there has to be a data quality in terms of sampling, and also what do you call, where in dimension it fits. That also is a great thing to really see. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for having me. And my parting thought will be, as you rightly mentioned, that it is not one problem or one team problem, the data quality. Everyone has to think about it.
Mhm.
And you don't have to invest big to start with. Open source are there. Even some of the Excel sheet, if you are good enough, you can just take some of data and look for the data quality. So don't start with the big bang enterprise data quality and going with the $1 million enterprises to start with, because that will take a long time. You
Mhm.
figure it out which is your priority task and
Mhm.
start with open source. You
Mhm.
will make a good impact, and then you will also make a very good business use case to go to the business and ask for fund for the enterprise wise. So it is everyone's responsibility, but stewards will be the primary flag bearers who will take the lead, who will
Mhm.
interact with multiple people and the processes inside the company to make the data of good quality.
Awesome, awesome. Really, I mean, helpful. I mean, I'm really thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. I have learned a lot of things out here, and I would compile those thoughts and then keep sharing. And obviously, credit goes to you in keeping those
No,
thoughts.
thanks for having me. It was a great pleasure to talk to you. We will hopefully talk again
Yes,
and
definitely.
wish you all the best with your data kibat. It was fun to be part of with you.
Thanks, Vivek, and
Thank you.
looking forward for more work on the data OSDQ. So all the
Thank you.
best.
Yeah,
Thank you.
OSDQ. Yeah, open source data quality. I also called OSDQ.
Yep.
Yeah, we will work more on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.